Well, we're going to get started then. So welcome, everyone. This is smart contract collateral risks and opportunities? Maybe
learnings.
Not. What is it?
Learnings.
Oh, risks and learnings. So, I'm going to just jump straight in.
No, we just have to start with introductions. Maybe not everybody knows who everybody is.
Oh, I was going to jump in and ask.
To introductions? Oh, no. You're going to grill Zach. Okay, sorry.
Before we do introductions, I was going to ask Zach, why in the Canto lending market can I not use Canto as collateral?
Because it presents risk to the underlying system, and Canto is also the gas token. We don't want to create disincentivized economies around the gas token when it's a nascent system in a developing market.
Damn it, thanks for asking. Thanks for answering so straight.
Yeah.
All right, let's do intros.
Hi, my name is Amin Soleimani, the CEO of SpankChain, summoner of Moloch DAO. I help make the RAI stablecoin and other things too.
I'm Indigo, founder of Auditware. We're building an all-in-one smart contract auditing tool.
It's your boy, Zak Cole. I am the CTO, co-founder of Slingshot Finance, also Code4rena for all your auditing needs, and I am a core contributor at Canto, and I believe I am building the future of finance alongside all of you fine folks. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Zach. I'm Picnic, co-founder of Code4rena and chief of staff of the org that runs the contests.
And I'm Zak. I'm also from Code4rena, and just excited to be here with you all. Let's get our first question. What is your favorite collateral that you've ever deposited?
My favorite collateral?
Yeah.
Based money.
I thought that's what you were going to say.
He's the base money god, so you would have to say that.
I know this might be an unpopular opinion here, but I'm a big fan of ETH.
Maxi.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'd say like staked ETH on top of that.
Nice. Okay, well, let's ask some personal questions. Can we start with some personal questions? So let's say that the collateral that you have locked right now, let's say that you don't want to lose it. Just assume that. What is your comfort level with where that collateral is at, and how did you get to that decision?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess it depends on the contract and whether it's been audited, but historically I've not been too risk averse, and I have been known to just ape assets into unverified contracts via Etherscan directly, bypassing the UI. And I've only been rugged twice so far. So I have a pretty lenient approach to it. This is not financial advice. Don't do what I do. I am not smart.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to say because you can understand the financial risks pretty well, and I think those are pretty transparent in most cases. But there's a lot of like residual risk, right? Like the unfortunate thing is the owner of the risk ends up being the user, right? But they're not the kind of the architects of the security of the system, and really they have no visibility into it. So like Zach said, you don't even if a contract has been audited, it's been verified, there's still risk there. But especially if one hasn't, you really don't know what you're getting into.
I mean, for the RAI stablecoin, we picked Hello? Okay. Yeah, we picked only Ether as the collateral type because we were cautious of all of the other risks associated with other collaterals. When you use stablecoins as collateral, well, if your stablecoin has a blacklist, then suddenly maybe everybody who is using that smart contract can get rugged by just the stablecoin collateral being blacklisted from the system. That hasn't been used very broadly. The only stablecoin blacklist was Tornado Cash itself, the USDC pool, but it sent shivers through the whole ecosystem with MakerDAO, then realizing that they had to take this threat seriously.
Well, what's your favorite collateral?
We're the ones asking the questions here, Zach.
My bad.
So tell us a little bit about auditware and what what your approach is.
Yeah,
on that
sure,
front.
definitely. So I think we see that there's like a high barrier to entry, like to get audits, to do audits. There's kind of a lot of gatekeeping, right? It's anyone who's got an audit kind of knows this. The experience is pretty terrible, right? They're very expensive. There's like a huge wait time to get them. There's programs out there like what Zach's doing with Code4rena that make it a lot easier. But our focus at Auditware is to look at the whole auditing process and see like what are the inefficiencies and where can we like use automation, use AI, and like just really good tooling for auditors to improve the process. So something we're focusing on is putting together a tool's called Audit Wizard. We basically compile a lot of different tools and have a really good experience for auditors to perform audits. In the future, that tool, you'll be able to, as a developer, go in and self-audit and have a really good sense of the security of your system, what you would get through an audit, and it'll allow you to at least have some sense of security while you're waiting to get an audit, and also kind of remove the overhead of when an auditor does come to audit your platform. They don't have to worry about all these small problems because they'll have kind of found them through our platform first.
Nice. So, Amin, tell us your most interesting horror story on the security side.
We got hacked once, a spank chain. A couple of years ago, our payment channel contract got exploited for about $40,000. That wasn't that bad, all things considered. I went and talked to, I eventually had to track down the guy who stole it, was able to call them up and talk to them on the phone and convince them to give us back the money in exchange for some reward, which ultimately cost less than the security audit would anyway. So that was pretty funny. Probably we had some scares. Like there was some bug in MakerDAO that they only found out. It was like with some code path that hadn't been used yet, and then one day one of their engineers like DM'd us because Rye is a fork of DAI MakerDAO, and so then they DM'd us and were like, "Hey, we have this bug. We need to, you should fix it in this way." And like, it was scary because before that, it basically would have just rugged us both had it ever been exploited in practice. It's distressing to know that there's like bugs that can be out there for years without people catching them. That's the thing that's scary.
Yeah, and also 0 days. There's a 0 day out there right now just waiting for your assets.
Yeah, the phone that everyone has in their pocket right now, there's a 0 day. Just give it some time.
And this guy was like a lead security engineer at Apple, by the way, so he knows what he's talking about.
So you know that's real.
So then let's keep the horror stories going. What do you see on that front there, Indigo?
I have an interesting one, actually. I was evaluating the, not necessarily like in the application space, but I was evaluating the operational security of a crypto company, and just kind of like poking around in their wikis and stuff. And one thing I found was they had literally a map of the locations of all their employees, like on pinpoints on this like global map, but you could, view it publicly. There was no access control on it. So I literally knew where all their employees lived, and I could zoom in on their house and find them. And I said, yeah, you probably want to put some access control around that.
Yeah, so last year, I believe we did an NFT sale, essentially, and we raised $3 million. So what happened was there was it wasn't a contract issue, actually. This was a user experience type issue. It was a user error. So the organization had accepted a PR submitted by one of their developers that just replaced the multi-sig address with his own address, and it sucked off all those assets. So luckily what we had to do was essentially dox this guy, figure out where he was, because he wasn't that smart. And we got on a call with him. I guess I'll just say it, the platform was Miso. It was Sushi's Miso platform. So to freak this guy out, we found his address, because we're good elite hackers and all, and we sent him like 20 orders of miso soup while we were on a call with him, and essentially coaxed this guy to return all of the funds. Funds Safu, good guys win. That guy is probably not going to work in this space again, so don't be narcs, guys.
That could have been really, really difficult time. Jay.
Stressful.
Oh.
Hello.
So Jay from JPEGs, Kia Sedona.
That was probably like one of the more epic things that I can actually disclose. Mostly because we recovered the funds without having to involve some third party, like the feds or anything like that. We were able to handle all of that in-house, like grown adults and cypherpunks we are.
So with all this experience represented on this stage right now, what is the best advice that you would give to folks who might be building or who might be putting up their own collateral on something they're securing?
For builders, the advice that I would give is, first, don't write smart contracts. If you have to write smart contracts, write as little code as you can. Every additional line of code is more code that needs to be tested, evaluated, eventually audited, and that's all like a whole process. And the more complex you make it, the more likely that there's a bug somewhere in there.
Yep.
Yeah, and what we say in the the Web 2 crypto world is, don't roll your own crypto, and I think that definitely holds true. Like, if you don't have to write it, if someone else has written it, use that. Don't write your own thing because you're gonna mess it up. Yeah. But also, like, if you're building, definitely have a security person that's gonna continuously, think about security. If you were building like an AI platform, you'd have an AI guy. To build like a Web3 product without a security person is just a bad idea.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, only keep the logic that's absolutely necessary to ensure the security of your assets on chain. Defer everything off chain. There's no problem with using a centralized server if you're just conducting basic logic. We don't need to be super decentralized maxis about it when there's a large amount of assets on the line. So first thing we need to be is stewards for those assets. To make sure that they're safe and that we're doing the right thing on behalf of those who are trusting us with that. Make sure that it's all transparently provided online, verify your contracts, but most importantly, do due diligence on the people you work with, because they can just rug you really quick if you want. And a lot of the issues that we see in the space aren't necessarily based on smart contract logic bugs. I feel like we're fairly mature since like the DAO hack happened. Like, we kind of know what's up now, and we have these processes down. So let's try to think about all the off-chain logic, which includes human error, when we're considering overall security and collateral risk.
Yeah, definitely. Don't neglect your OPSEC, right?
Yeah, OPSEC for real. Amin and I were SIM swapped a couple years ago.
Yeah, there was a whole SIM swapping thing that went out. We like formed a war room Telegram chat.
Yeah.
And then one of the girls that got SIM swapped hadn't changed her number and didn't set up a Google Voice proxy, and then got SIM swapped again, and the hacker was able to see our entire Telegram war room chat. We're
Yep.
fucking idiots.
And be careful at events like this, because that's where predators come, because all of us are congregating in one space. So when I travel with a work-specific laptop. I have a burner phone. Y'all don't even know me.
I don't know you.
So, Indigo, you raised one thing that I think is an absolute thing that we've got to discuss, which is AI. I'm really curious, when you think about security, what additional risks are we not anticipating right now that are made more possible by AI-related attacks that could be out there? What changes really in the entire space based on just the availability of AI?
Right, in terms of AI? Yeah, I think it's really hard to say because right now AI is kind of an immature tool, but I think the potential for it is pretty scary because an AI can be hyper vigilant, right? So if you can imagine like an AI adversary, right? Like they're never going to sleep, right? They're going to find the 0 days, and 0 days are really like a combination of like the stars aligning and just matching a whole bunch of conditionals that just so happen to have some side effect that you can exploit. And they take forever to find for that reason, right? And oftentimes people just kind of stumble on them. But an AI can be, really scrupulous and continuously search. So I think that having really good like defense in depth and like really well engineered systems is going to be super important because the second you deploy a smart contract that's vulnerable, you're just going to be instantly hacked.
I'm just going to jump in on that. I want everybody else to get the chance to answer. But when you talk about defense in depth in smart contracts, let's just have a little sidebar on what does that look like for defense in depth? Like, what are some best practices on that front?
I mean, the way I see it is mitigating the multi-party risk, right? Or I guess the single-party risk. It's identifying if there's any like privileged actions that are sensitive. If there's only one person that can make that happen. Like a really good example is like having a multi-sig own your contract, and of course there's a lot of issues with that as well. But that mindset of it takes more than one person or more than one like step in the process to exploit something is really adds a lot of value to defending. And you don't always know that the point of defense in depth is your defenses will fail eventually, and if you just have one line of defense, then that's it. But if an attacker has to get through 2 lines of defense, you can see that they've broken one, you can respond to it, you have time. We see this a lot in the Web 2 space where you kind of have like an eggshell around your company. You have like your network security is really high. So if someone gets on one of your boxes, usually you have a little bit of time to do something, respond to it, cut off their access. In the Web 3 space, everything can happen instantly, right? So there's no time to triage. There's no time to have incident response. Update your smart contracts. If you didn't get it right, then you're done.
Awesome. Amin and Zach, going to give you the chance to answer the AI question. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I got something. So on the AI part, be careful what data you share and which like ID. Hello. Which IDs you're using, because if you check out like GitHub Copilot, for example, what it's doing is that it's essentially pulling all the code you're writing into a large data set. And AI is really just a big-brained way to explain a large inferential data set that can kind of make decisions based on conditional statements really fast. So all of the code you write, anything you write in your IDE is being pulled into GitHub or Microsoft servers, where it's then being fed into a much larger data set. So if you're writing something like a mnemonic or you're sending a private key somewhere, it could potentially be auto-completed in the future. AI isn't like really that crazy. It's just like a hand-wavy way to explain these like huge server farms that have been aggregated within the Web 2 space. So don't buy into the marketing and be careful what data you share. Make sure you take advantage of cold storage as well, and don't trust any sort of computer.
Amin?
Yeah, I don't know how realistic this is, but I think it'd be funny if an AI tried to do the same scam that your miso supply chain attack.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
be
exactly.
careful
That's what I'm
employing,
saying.
Chat GPT-7 as it tries to break out and steal your crypto by replacing your address with its own in your crowd sale contract.
Right. Yeah, and I bring that up because I was actually typing a mnemonic into VS Code, and it was trying to autofill the rest of the seed phrases, and immediately I was like, okay, fuck this. Sketchy.
I think fuck this is a great final ending point for this panel. So thanks everybody for being part of this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Go.